Now we're doing today's Tanya. It says, this is the Yid's avoid his whole life. Page Mem. 5 lines from the bottom. That instead of living with depression, as real as it is, he lives with joy. B'simcha rabba, with unbelievable joy. He's simchas hanefesh, it's the joy of the neshama. B'teisim yagufa, it departs from the body. Hamatur, which is disgusting. V'shava, and it's returning the neshama. El beis aviyah, to her father's home, as it was in its youth. Not chas v'sham, that the neshama leaves this world. Fakert, the neshama guf, neshama bria, but guf body. You're very much alive in this world, and afal pikein, you're experiencing redemption. Because you're doing Torah and mitzvahs. B'shas ha'Torah v'aveda, because you're learning Torah and doing mitzvahs, serving the Eibishter. The Gemara says the Lashon is called Yom B'tshuva. Every minute you're doing tshuva, you're not just doing tshuva for Avedas, you're doing tshuva, returning the neshama to the Eibishter. Zagal terebe ve'ein locha simcha gedela. There is no greater joy than this. Kitzeis me'agolos v'ashivya. Then when the neshama goes out of the exile and the incarceration and the imprisonment. And of course the chiddush over here is, even though in the next second the neshama is going to be in Golos again, and you have to do another act of tshuva, but nevertheless, this instant is an act of redemption and joy. K'mashal ben Melech, for example, the son of a king. Shaya b'Shivi was incarcerated. V'toichem b'beis asurim, he was actually used as a human mill, as a slave mill in prison. The worst kind of prisoners, they would actually use them to run around in a circle and make a mill work. And he's filthy ba'ashma and shmutz. And he was freed, and he comes home to the palace, he's very happy. He's still disgusting, he hasn't taken a shower yet, hasn't been cleaned up, he hasn't gone to the doctor, it doesn't matter. Still, there is joy in the redemption, even though he's dirty. The same is true in the nimshal. What's the nimshal? You're doing a mitzvah, which is redeeming you. You're continuing to be in a guf. You continue to be in Elam Hazah. The mitzvah redeems, and it's a tremendous simcha. The says about the physical body, the nikar mishcha, the chivitz, the skin of a snake. Because the essence of the animal soul has not been transformed into good, to be included in kedusha. So therefore, after the act of Yiddishkeit, which is an act of tshuva, you're still stuck in the guf of nefesh habahamis. Nevertheless, take an afshabeinav. You should value your life in your eyes. Lismeyach b'simchasa, to rejoice in the joy of the soul. Yeser mi'aguf hanivza, rather than be depressed about the depressing body. And here comes one of my favorite lines in Tanya. I make my bracha memorize it. Do not entangle and confuse simchas hanefesh, the joy of the soul, b'yitzav aguf, with the depression of the body. You've got a choice. Do not focus on the guf of nefesh habahamis and your mother shcheira. Focus on the simcha of Avodas Hashem and rejoice in it. 2 seconds later you're vayter naguf and you get up to do tshuva again and be b'simcha again. Because each moment is a real act of Yetzias Mitzrayim. And he says, V'hinei, B'china zu, this level, where you go out of the guf of nefesh habahamis to take the mitzvahs, and 2 seconds later you got to go out again, and 2 seconds after you have to go out lower there, and he begins Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's what happened when Yidden left Mitzrayim. Because when Yidden left Mitzrayim, it was also a geula. But when Yidden left Mitzrayim, it was also a geula, and they took Mitzrayim with them into Golus. They went into geula, and took the Golus Mitzrayim with them into the geula. Which is exactly what's happening to this Yid, who's doing an act of tshuva ma'asim tevim, kol yama b'tshuva, doing Yiddishkeit not as kiyum mitzvahs, but as a geula, and 2 seconds later he's vided amol and golus. And the solution is to do nacha mitzvah, never finishing, and to always focus on simchas hanefesh. That's what happened when Yidden left Mitzrayim. Shenem bo, when Yidden left Mitzrayim, the pasuk says, ki baracham, the Jewish people escaped. So the Alter Rebbe says, the question is, lama haisa kazais? Why did they have to run away? If Pari would have said to send them, they would tell Pari to redeem them forever. We wouldn't have to send them. They asked for 3 days, like answer spiel, but they could have gone out forever. So why are they running away from Mitzrayim? And the answer is they were running away from the Egypt within the Jew. The answer is the evil in the Jewish souls. Within all of its power, the left ventricle of the heart. The shmutz did not leave Klal Yisrael till Matan Torah. So when they left Mitzrayim, they took it along. They were running away from themselves. There was a Gili Alakus. There was a moment of clarity, like it's called Tanya Perek Chavtes. There was a moment of joy, like it's called Tanya Perek Lamed Aleph. They grabbed the clarity, they grabbed the joy, and they ran before it passes. Because they knew that with the passes, they're going to be the same Mitzrayim-dika people. and they wanted to run out of Mitzrayim before they could change their mind. And then they run out of Mitzrayim again and again, spiritually speaking. Their want and the desire was to redeem and to remove their godly soul. From the incarceration of Klippa. He tumas Mitzrayim, which is the uncleanness of Mitzrayim. Even though Mitzrayim is going to be with them and haunting them. We find that the Eibishter is called Geulah, the Shem Uzi Uma Uzi Umenusi. Hashem is my power and my fortress and my escape. B'yem tzad of a game on days of tzad. Mizgabi, he lifts me up. Umanusi, and he's the place to which I escape, v'gemet, and so forth. V'humanusli, and he is my escape. So the Alter Rebbe brings 3 psukim, and you'll ask the Kabbalists why he brings 3 psukim. So a Yid is running. What is he running away from? He is running away from the Mitzrayim, which is himself. And the same is true in Avodah. A Yid has a choice of being depressed about his guf and nefesh Bahamas, or the simcha of simchas hanefesh, right? The joy of the neshama. Says Alter Rebbe, focus and enjoy the neshama and do tshuva again and again and again and again and again. Even though you're still stuck in the guf of nefesh Bahamas, every act of tshuva is a joyous event. Then when Mashiach comes, Hashem is going to remove the spirit of uncleanness from the ground completely. And then it's going to be a geula she'ein acharei hagolos. The pasuk says, we're not going to have to run away anymore. The Eibishter walks lefnechem before you, or lefnechem means lepnimiyusam, to the pnimiyus of a yid, and you don't have to run away anymore. But right now, Yetzias Mitzrayim, you go out of Egypt, and then you have to go out of Egypt again and again and again. But even though you have to continuously going out of Egypt, each redemption is joyous. Focus on that joy.